What up, nerds? Bujo Head Jody here. As you can see, I have been bullet journaling since 2017, and I would like to share my November 2020 monthly spreads with y'all. I know it's a little late, but better late than never. And I don't know, first week of November is pretty nutso, and it's the second week, so I've only just recovered. You can see here my beautiful black nails that I had going for Halloween, and my rings look real good. Um, so we're setting up November right now. So last month, we had like sort of a lowercase, more swirly, so we're gonna go much more sort of angular for November, at least with our writing. And then I'm actually incorporating a little script font. I'm not, like, I don't do brush lettering. So, actually, since I have been bullet journaling, my boss actually remarked that my handwriting is a lot nicer than it used to be. Like, he asked if it was really my signature. So that was fun. um, but yeah, welcome to November. So I actually put a title on this um, page here. This is my normal monthly spreads. I've kept mostly the same, but this is sort of the summary page for the beginning, end, and the change for all of my financial accounts. So I titled that Delta. Delta is often used for change. And then this month, our theme is just circles. I've been trying to do a circle theme for a while. Every time I try to do it, it's not very conducive to, because I write a lot of lists and I use a lot of stuff that is much more conducive to a rectangular or square type theme. So for right now, I'm actually using the same washi tape that I actually use for the little monthly flag, to throw some big circles in there. I've got 4 different colors. I really wanted more of a blue theme. I also have this stencil, which has a lot of different size circles. So we're going to go for a couple different sizes there with the different colors. I'm just kind of doing this, feeling it out, a lot of this I didn't really pre-plan. You can see I haven't made a whole lot of pencil marks, just sort of like a guideline of, okay, don't go outside these bounds, for a lot of these initial setup pages. And I really like this cover page. I like the whole randomness of it. I kind of like the writing over all the circles. And it was kind of nice to just sort of not have a plan and just kind of go with it and change it up when I wanted to. So that I really did like, and I did a little offset because usually I do my title for the month, and any sort of quote or anything like that. I'll do that just straight up and down. Now you can see a little hesitant to go through with my plan for this summary page. And it's gonna take a really long time to do. But essentially, I'm basically using the different colors to try to make a sort of random bubble background for all of my accounts. And so the darker colors are going to be for the titles, and then the lighter colors I'll use for where I'm actually going to put the information. I am doing it in sort of like a every other pattern, which I've used in other previous spreads. I'm not sure if I've shown you those before, which makes it a little easier because then I didn't have to do as many circles, but there are still a lot of circles, and I think somewhere in here I think I'm done, and then I realize I'm only halfway. So you can already see me hesitate because I'm already regretting this. I'm also thinking about going all the way across with all these. But in the end, I don't. And while I'm not super... I don't hate this theme. There are some themes that I just did not like. I didn't enjoy. This is not my favorite theme. Like, sometimes you hit one that you're not especially enamored with. So, and that's okay, you know? You live and you learn. And I think from now on, I'm just going to have to accept that circle themes just don't provide much function for me. So, and that's okay. So here you can kind of see some of that pattern emerging, where I'm sort of doing every other to denote the different columns and rows. And because I do have 4 different colors, we're sort of pairing the teal up at the top with that lime green, and then this sort of light blue, the regular blue. So we've got the total difference is going to go up at the top. This blue section will be the assets, which is like my checking, savings accounts, and I also keep track of my cash. I don't usually carry a lot of cash. I think I've had like $5 for several months. And then the next section are like my quote-unquote debts, which are credit cards that I pay off in full every month. Actually, in this section, I do keep track of if I paid things off. Actually, recently, I do have a lot of them. I think there's 13 in total. So sometimes it's tough to keep track of whether I paid something off, and auto pay just, I don't know. I feel like I don't have any control over that, and I like to sort of do it all at once at the very beginning of the month. So I actually recently, I mean, it was sort of at the end of the summer, but sometimes it takes more than a month to take effect, but I changed all the due dates so that the previous period closed before the first, so that I could pay them all off on the first, or, you know, within the first week of the month. And so I usually keep track of all that. So usually I've got, like, you know, all the interest that comes in from, I say all the interest, I think like it's like $5. Interest rates are so low right now. But yeah, so like all the interest comes in. I do a bunch of my like monthly transfers into savings accounts or out of savings account, because I do have the one savings account that's kind of like a slush fund. So you can see here, it's taking a very, very long time to do that. So I took a break and did something a little bit more creative with this title here. Um, right. So then, in addition to all those sort of transfers, I also pay off all the credit cards. So I go through, and it also, if it's not on auto pay, then I go and actually check it, like, and I've had, I think within the past year, just one of the credit cards had a fraudulent charge on it. And so I was able to call the credit card company up and be like, hey, this wasn't me, you had to be vigilant with that. And one technique that a lot of times people who are making fraudulent charges will do is they'll make a small charge just to check, if you're paying attention before they go and they make a large charge. So sometimes if it's off by a little bit and you're like, oh, I'm not sure, go and check, So in the section with the debts, I'll write down what the credit card name is, and then I'll have like a little checkbox or just like a little dot that I then cross off in classic Bujo fashion. A lot of times I will also, I'll do some reconciliation sort of toward the middle of the month to just check that that has all gone through. And so I'll do my second slash there. It's funny, this whole section is just so regimented, like there's just it's a list and a line and columns and rows, and I was definitely trying to fit a round peg in a square hole here. It's just, just gotta sort of accept that if I am gonna do another circle themed month in the future, that it needs to be more like the cover page or like the heading to this spread, because that's the parts I really like. So even if you have a theme that you don't like, well, one, we change it halfway through, not a problem. And you'll see later I do change it up a little bit, just to definitely speed up this process, because this was a little tedious, and it looks okay, from a distance. But again, not my favorite. I really liked some of my more recent spreads, and so I was a little sad that this wasn't a great one. I think one of the problems, I do really like, I kind of wanted to do like a dark navy, and I don't really have a good color for that. So the mild liners just don't have a darker blue than this. So we're gonna put in the headers for these different sections. I do like that I used sort of contrasting big headers and small headers with this. That was kind of probably something I'll incorporate into future spreads and monthly themes. Well, you see, this monthly theme, there's no doodles. So just like I've been telling you for the past two times, yeah, this is kind of my natural state, is the more geometric um, themed uh, monthly spreads. So it's just circles. um, so then after, we're actually gonna continue doing what we've done in the previous 2 months. So instead of doing my big calendar first and then my budget and hour lists, we'll do that first. I've really been enjoying having it in this order. This way, the monthly tab is actually connected to the left page here, and so I can flip to it pretty quickly because that's something I'll use pretty daily, and it's something I usually have information and I need to get it in. I need to write it down instead of looking at information. Whereas my calendar usually, that's something that I set up beforehand and I need to go look at something. I don't know why I like it better that I can just flip to this, but I've just been enjoying it. So we're gonna throw a big header here. Big serif font. And I definitely ran out of room last month and had to I actually used a single line for 2 lines of information, and then I had one tiny thing outside of my borders. So we're gonna make sure that we give a lot of space to my budget. So I'm kind of deciding how I want to put this together. And it just took so much time to do the previous spread that I am definitely going to change how I did that. So instead of doing sort of the alternating horizontal lines, I think this time we're gonna do vertical lines of these circles, which went a lot faster. I could use bigger circles, and it's definitely, a little different. And this was pretty much by feel. I had some sort of markers, pencil marks, to sort of indicate where I wanted these vertical sections to be. But they're pretty loose. I think you can see the middle one kind of lists to the right. But I just needed something to break up the page. I also sort of changed my mind with this, and instead of just doing the one big bubble, kind of wanted some more overlapping smaller things. That'll be where the sort of subtitles go. Right, so these, the left-hand side and this small section here on the right are for all of my money moves, my, spending, transfers, paying off the credit card, all that stuff. So actually, it's very funny because I changed everything to the first. I basically use that entire spread on the first. Actually, looking back on it, I think I made it more than halfway down the left hand side of that page, just from paying off credit cards, making a bunch of transfers, and I also pay my electricity and my internet on the first as well. My electricity, actually, I have electric heating, so that covers everything. And I do technically have cable, but I basically just use the internet. I think I actually sent my cable box back because I was like, I don't actually need this. I do use the login to get to all the streaming services that the mostly just networks have. But yeah, and then this section, the blue section, is for hours for my regular job. Yeah. Definitely not the most elegant spread, but it is functional. I have been using it, and it works, But again, round peg in a square hole. So I think if I do a circle theme in the future, it's definitely going to be more of a background look to it. And so now my normal date, amount, account, total, description, budget for the budget columns. And then for the hours columns, date, hours, total, income, and increase. And then the same as the budget for the second budget section. So you have my budget and hours spread, and now my last spread that I usually always do, which is the calendar spread for the month. We're going to put the November title down here at the bottom. Just to be quirky. And now this one is a lot more structured. I did find that the circle that this washi tape makes is kind of just the right size. So this is definitely the round peg is fitting better in the square hole here. However, I did do this freehand, so it's not like perfectly lined up, but like that's also kind of the style, so that's okay. I did do a different color for the weekends. I always put my weekends on the end of the week. And then even these like little mini headers are much more structured in that like it had a rule. Like here are three things of all the same size. I did switch out the color, so it had the matching set of teal with like the lime green and the blue with the light blue. And then I do have my now and later boxes, with my now box being bigger than my later box. And you'll actually see I did a similar technique with this in that I'm not exactly making them touch perfectly, but we're doing sort of an overlap. And I actually really like that. I think that might be something that I incorporate into future spreads, because it was definitely, it's more structured, but it kept the circle aesthetic. So we're gonna clean this up a little bit. I did think about putting some more large headers or even like a quote somewhere in here, but I just threw the subheaders in the now and later, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, in the sort of subheader script that I've been using. And it's a little empty, but I was pretty satisfied with it, so I just kind of went with it. And then I really liked how I did the dates. Actually separated the two numbers on either side of each circle. It does look kind of weird because with the days next to each other, they make new numbers, but I kind of like it. I mean, it's not hard to parse later, and I got all the numbers right, so good for me. So yeah, so I got my calendar, my budget, and my hours, and my totals. So we just have to put the little monthly flag on, and then we are all set for November 2020. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot.